Hello and welcome to the upper deck. Breaking news, everybody. We won a game. We won. We won a game. I hope everybody put it in your memory books because we won a game. And so I'm Lynn, by the way. Next to me is Ciarra. We're here and have so much to go over, from the obvious to maybe the not so expected. But let's just start with Spencer's trivia question of the week. So, 20 years ago, after a successful season, the Yankees met the LA Angels in the ALDS. In Game 5, two Yankees outfielders collided while chasing a fly ball, ultimately costing the Yankees the game and the championship. Who were those two New York Yankee outfielders? And were they DFA'd immediately after? So, as always, we'll have the answer for you right towards the end of the show. All right. So let's break it down. It's really not the rearview mirror look you want. We're back to like crying as we leave our best friend. So let's start with the Cubs, Ciarra.
Listen, going into the Cubs series, I said it. They're a good team. They're the best team in baseball right now. They're red hot. You have to find a way to beat good teams, and the Yankees did not do that. On Sunday, it was a rubber match, right? The Yankees took the first game, and it was a great game. It was a great revenge game for Bellinger. Game 2 didn't look so good. Game 3, I'm pretty sure, and somebody can correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's the first time the Yankees have ever faced Imaga, and he shut them down into the 8th inning. You can't win a game when you only have one hit, and that one hit was from Giancarlo Stanton. You can't win a game like that. Regardless of how Will Warren pitched, regardless of how the bullpen pitched, if the Yankees don't put up a run, they're not going to win a game. So at the end of the day, that was just a really, really ugly loss. Coming out of the All-Star break, I was really hoping the Yankees had some good rest. But Lynn, I think you were right. You said they're in Atlanta, so maybe they thought the All-Star break wasn't over yet.
I'm sticking to it.
Because Friday's game, first of all, some people might disagree with me here, but the game plan for Friday was atrocious, okay? The game plan to have Ian Hamilton open and then have a bullpen game, I don't care who we're saving for what games. You need to play the games in front of you, right? You don't look 3 games down the road. So for the logic police who are saying, well, we're saving our best pitchers for Atlanta, for the Blue Jays, I disagree with that. Why not try to win the games that are right in front of you in Atlanta to gain games on the Blue Jays before going into Toronto, right? Because now we had a bullpen game on Friday. So yesterday, I don't think the Yankees expected it to be a bullpen game, but Will Warren looked horrible. So it was a bullpen game yet again. So now looking at today, there's no bullpen available. And whoever you do utilize, you're hurting the Yankees going into Toronto. So that whole plan, it kind of fell apart, in my opinion. And Friday's game was ugly. They tried to, they tried to put up some runs with help from Bellinger and Stanton. It didn't work. They ended up losing 7-3. Thankfully, yesterday, and look, I had wrote off the Yankees going into the 6th inning. I was like, it's another Friday night game. Thankfully, they figured it out, and while they won, it was an ugly win. We had bad base running. We had bad defense yet again. Our bullpen was exposed once again. So going into the 6th inning, everyone's looking at each other saying, wow, the Yankees only need starting pitching, relief pitching, and a third baseman to move forward in the season.
Yeah, only. And the thing is, we were not mismatched. The Braves are not the Braves we used to know. There's really no excuse to be at Yes Jordan, another rubber game Sunday. And good morning. I see Uncle Tats is here, and got to put this one up because yeah, thanks, Tats. I really would like to not be so predictable. We like Ciarra, we like to shake things up every now and
then. Don't blame us. Blame the New York Yankees, okay?
and while we're here, before we pivot to the next thing, so let's do roll call because they're all here. So hey, Jonathan and Lori, and we got John the Google Dad, We have Shayna, we have Jordan, and we have who did I miss? Lou's here, and Miguel is here. Good to see you, FJ. Great to see you. And I think that's it for now, but we're piling on in. So let's go on over to beep 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 news and views. All right, so I wanted to just mention just in news, and then we'll get to all the other stuff. Today begins Women in Baseball Week, and I just want to shout that out because Ciarra and I are obviously women in baseball. We think so because we're content creators for the Yankees. And there's so many women out there doing all sorts of things in baseball. So Women in Baseball Week is an annual worldwide event recognizing the value, diversity, and cultural significance of women in baseball. And I am going to put the link to the womeninbaseballweek.org in the chat so that you can read more about it at the end of the show. So Ciarra, what's up on you for the news and views this week?
Listen, let's talk about Jazzism Jr. because I love Jazz. He has the ability to get under people's skin in a way that like I wish I could, right? Like he is just I don't even know what it is about him. But yesterday you saw him at third base. You know, he's doing this to somebody. He's telling them to come tight to his face. He's pointing at his head. He's talking to Luis Rojas. Well, speculation is when Volpe was at the plate, Jazz were relaying pitches to him, right? Which isn't illegal. And I know it does upset people when it happens. And I know the Yankees were just kind of criticized for doing it against the Mariners. Boo-hoo, tell your pitcher not to tip pitches. Like, it's not like it hasn't happened to the Yankees in the past, right? So anyway, so the dugout was upset, the Braves dugout. And Eddie Perez, I guess, was jawing at Jazz. And Jazz is saying, he's saying, you're running your mouth, come say it to my face. Like, you're just over there talking and, doing Jazz things. And then you see him talk to Luis Rojas, and he's telling Luis Rojas, they're saying they're going to pitch at my head. They're saying they're going to come headhunting for me. So I thought that was interesting because they never showed us the dugout for the Braves, right? And I believe Jazz was truly arguing with somebody. Like, he's not arguing with himself. But they never showed the Braves dugout. And I searched for it today to see if somebody else caught a different camera angle of it. So I'm just curious to see kind of what happens in today's game. Is Jazz going to hit by a pitch? Is Jazz going to continue to argue with these people? Like, is it going to be a Royals-Yankees situation where now the entire Braves team and the entire Braves organization is like, well, we hate this Jazz Chisholm guy? I was just curious, Lynn, did you pick up on any of that when you were watching the game?
I did not. I missed the part of where he was talking to Rojas, but it makes me feel like a little bit nervous about today because it could be a bench clearing event if there's some sort of plan going on. Well, the benches will clear, but of course the guys from the bullpen will come out politely as they always do and march single file to the fight. This could be. Listen, there's a difference between Jazz and the way he jaws and Volpe and the way he tries to like poke at people and stir the flames every now and then. Like Volpe's the little gnat that like you swat away. Jazz is gonna throw hands, and it's gonna be good. So I don't want to see it, but I do think that if that's true, and look, what we need is John Boy to like do the lip reading analysis of it and see if that's what was actually said.
Yeah. And I was really hoping that Jazz was going to get up to the plate and hit that grand slam. It ended up, Grisham ended up being the guy to do it. But if Jazz would have did it, it would have just been that much sweeter for me.
Yeah.
Because I love when Jazz talks crap and backs it up. Right.
Right.
Bring the passion, bring the fire, because sometimes you don't see it out of the Yankees. You have Aaron Judge, who is a very silent leader. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. So you need a guy like Jazz who does, because maybe it'll light a fire under somebody else, like a young guy like Peraza or a young guy like Vivas, who is still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I don't think it's, and I say this a lot. I miss the gritty 70s and 80s when like this was like every game basically you wondered. And it used to be part of the strategy to like either, take the attention off you cuz you suck lately or, to get your guys going. I mean, that was Billy Martin's MO other than that was Billy Martin and he got mad at anything. But that there was that time when Boone had a little bit of that in him before the front office completely broke him. Like we don't see that my guys are savages in the box Boone anymore, but that was he just went amped it up and up and up, and it got the team going. And we need more of that, and we're not getting that from our manager, and as much as we love him, not from our captain.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jazz is going to have to do it for them.
Two things real quick. So CT, you're not wrong. I do miss Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres is still my favorite guy in the league. Okay. And it's so funny that you say that because watching the second base blunder yesterday and watching some of the base running mistakes, my first thought is always, oh, wow, why did Gleyber do that? Oh, wait, he's not on this team anymore. But also CT mentioned that the lineup is out. And I also love today's lineup. I've been complaining about the lineup nonstop for the past couple weeks. I love today's lineup. The only thing I would change is if we had a different third baseman, but there's really nothing I can do about that in this moment. Jason Dominguez leading off. Yes, please sign me up every single day. Dominguez, Belly, Judge every day. Just like that. That's how it should be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I didn't see it in time to put it on a slide for us. So, I'm glad to hear it got good reviews, though. Makes me a little bit optimistic. I just want to shout out a first-time joiner. Welcome to the club, Miguel. And this is a club. And any newcomer is a member automatically. And yes, we are going to be talking a lot about trades today. Okay, so and then we let's also talk about okay, we kind of covered the bullpen budget, but before that, let's talk about Spencer Jones, Ciarra.
Listen, I'm going to ruffle some feathers here, but Spencer Jones is knocking at the door. So what are we going to do about it? Because Spencer Jones went from the guy who struck out 50 billion times last season to now he has hit 8 home runs within 15 AAA games. When they bounced him up to AAA, first of all, I was shocked. But second of all, I did not expect him to play this well. His trade value, this is the highest it's ever been, and it might be the highest it ever gets. So do we trade Spencer Jones or do we bring him up and trade Trent Grisham? And I understand Trent Grisham hit a grand slam last night. I do. And I understand that Trent Grisham plays Gold Glove center field defense. But let's be honest with ourselves. Trent Grisham is inconsistent, and we can't expect him to give us 5 RBI every night. He's been inconsistent for a while now. And that's no knock on him because he was great in the first part of the season. But do we trade him because he's going to be a free agent next year anyway, bring up Jones, who we're going to have more control over for the next couple of years, or do we trade Jones and get something for him? Because everything that's available at this point is a rental. So the Yankees really have to take a long, hard look and decide who they're willing to part with to fix this team. Because like I said, third base, huge hole that they ignored going into the season. Starting pitching, I can't really blame them. They didn't, they went out and got Max Fried. Probably didn't expect this many injuries, but that needs to be fixed. And the bullpen is a disaster. So they got to decide what they're doing.
They really should not and best not pull a Peraza on Spencer Jones. We need Spencer Jones, and if we're gonna hug a prospect, it should be Spencer Jones. I know we don't like it when they do it, but escalator him on up and over to the show, because this is and if you're not going to do that now, and Lord knows we need things now, then do the right thing and get us somebody good in a package for a high dollar value player. But it's not fair to this kid. He's too good.
And if you think about it long term, right? Like a lot of Yankees fans are focusing on Kyle Tucker. And I don't think that's realistic for the Yankees. The Cubs are the best team in baseball right now. They're going to open their wallets for Kyle Tucker. Like typically the Cubs don't spend a lot of money, but when you're a team that is in playoff contention and could potentially give the Dodgers a run for their money, why are you not going to throw money at Kyle Tucker to keep him when you have one of the best outfields in baseball between Tucker, Happ, and PCA? The Yankees, if they bring up Jones, trade Grisham, they could flip Belly to first base next season when Goldschmidt is no longer with us, because Belly does play first base, right? Or you have the same issue you have now where you have a 4-man outfield where you have to rotate, because that's not a terrible issue to have. But you can think long-term with this one if you were to bring up Jones.
Yep. And so the chat's a little bit mixed here. And by the way, some of our regulars slipped in. So CT, Egyptian Magician, John the Beagle Dad, and Mr. Barrow. So nice to see you in the chat. So CT's saying Spencer Jones is on the trade block, just saying we need to give to get, right? But Lou is saying, bring him up and trade Grish. So, and this seems to be kind of split among everyone in the chat for the most part. And again with CT, anyone except Rice.
I don't know. So I like Rice. I'm a Rice fan. However, we have 3 catchers on this team, right? We have 3 first basemen. If you want to get realistic, if you want to think about it, you have Belly, you have not Judge, you have Belly, you have Goldie, and you have Rice. We have 2 DHs between Rice and Stanton. We have 3 catchers between Ciarra, Wells, and Rice. Rice really he's catching today, so he can show up and show us what he can do, but he could be trade bait.
Yeah, I think we have more trade bait than we normally would have, and it's not that I don't think we need to be smart and use that bait, but we need to be smart about it and think about our future, and think about how vulnerable we've been all around the field this season, and so. Remember those good old days when we felt like we were stacked up with everything? We had inventory on the shelves, and look at us now. We're
I don't remember those days at all.
What?
I don't remember those days at all because it's been so long.
That's why. That's why you don't remember. But Pepperidge Farm remembers, and we were saying that early on. But look, now we're In New York City, it used to be called Odd Lot, but we're like the discount store, neighborhood discount store with nothing on the shelf. We're okay. Everyone's like, okay, they said the word trade, we're just gonna go for it. We do just also we want to talk about the fact that Stroman is starting today, and I say starting for a reason, so look, it's been a while since I've said manage your expectations, right, everybody? Let's put ourselves in a manage our expectations state of mind. We got to manage our expectations with Stroman, and like Ciarra, you were saying before we jumped on, he's gonna go, if we're lucky, he's gonna go 5. Right?
Yeah, this is where the game plan going into this weekend, coming out of the All-Star break, really, really frustrated me because, okay, you could have flipped it around. Like Stroman could have started game 1 if you needed to save one of the other arms. We're coming off of an All-Star break. Nobody has pitched. But for them to throw out Ian Hamilton and use up the bullpen in game 1, and then for Will Warren is inconsistent at best, right? He has some really good games, and then he has some really bad games. You don't ever know what you're getting out of Will Warren. So with Stroman, you're getting 5 innings, and that's probably about it. His last outing, he didn't look bad. He gave you the 5 innings. He nibbled the corners, but he only gave up 2 runs. That's all I can ask for, but he needs a bullpen to back him up. At this point, Stroman is a 6th starter on this team. But he needs the bullpen. There is no bullpen. So I'm gonna go through the bullpen budget with you guys real quick. JT Brubaker, 39 pitches on Friday. Luke Weaver, 30 pitches yesterday. Jonathan Loizaga pitched 2 innings, which he should not do, 30 pitches yesterday. Scott Efros between Friday and Saturday is at 27 pitches. Ian Hamilton on Friday, 26 pitches. So that's probably your guy coming out of the bullpen. Devin Williams
No.
and Tim Hill both at 20 pitches yesterday. So we're probably looking at Ian Hamilton, and the Yankees just brought up Alan Winans. So we're probably looking at Hamilton and Winans. Is that going to win us a game?
Look, the bats are going to have to do it because the pitching is not going to do it. Ian Hamilton was a travesty on Friday. Now, granted, he's a reliever, and this was a bullpen game. He really was not the one to start things off, that's for sure. Do I want to see him anytime soon? No. Do I have a choice? No. But that makes me nervous already. And like everyone's saying in the chat, and like you've been saying, Ciarra, they Boone loves that phrase, it's right ahead of us. And here's another reason why you should not be saying it. A, because it pisses us off and we never believe you. And B, what's right in front of you is the game you're about to play, not the series you're about to get to. And the mismanagement is next level. And it's hard to go next level when you're Aaron Boone. But like he has really mismanaged this entire, I want to say the entire month. And you want to look ahead, you're going to get Toronto, and this budget of ours is going to be even worse because we don't know for sure that Stroh is going to go the 5 innings. He's good for it. We don't know if he'll be good for it today.
Well, and you got to think about it too. So you play 3 games in Toronto. You're not off until Thursday, and then you have a long stretch after that too. But let's say we use Williams or we use Hill today. That sets us up for failure going into Toronto. Coming out of the All-Star break, playing a bullpen game set us up for failure. There was no need for it to be a bullpen game. For me, that logic doesn't make sense.
No, 100% not. If it makes sense, you have to think that there's an Aaron Boone, doppelganger running things because, or an avatar or an AI image. So, and Sean, I forgot to, I didn't see you come in. Thank you. Yes, there's terrible play right in front is what's right in front of us. 100%. But
the Braves might not be the Braves of the past, but they're still a good lineup. You're talking about a team that has Matt Olson, who if he can get hot, he's dangerous. You're talking about a team that has Marcelo Zuna and Ronald Acuna Jr. and Jerks and Profar. Like those are good baseball players when they're hitting the ball. Like and the Yankees basically woke them up on Friday. So sorry to the NL East if they go on a run now. You can blame the Yankees.
Yep. They'd have to take it. All right, let's go to who's hot, not, and meh. So we share the hot. Go for it against Ciarra.
I didn't want to put anybody in the hot because this team has just been terrible to watch. It's been like a freaking horrible car crash over and over again. And I swear to God, if the chat says Anthony Volpe because he had one good game yesterday, I'll lose my mind. But I gave it to Stanton. You know why? Because on Sunday when we lost to the Cubs, Stanton was the only hit. And on Saturday, Stanton was 1 for 1 and helped us actually get on the board. And that was Friday. And on yesterday, which was Saturday, Stanton was 1 for 2 and was walked twice. Once was intentional. It was like the weirdest intentional walk I've ever seen in my life. But he went 1 for 2 with 2 walks. So he got on base 3 times. The only person I can give this to is Stanton because he's getting on base. Sunday versus the Cubs, Bellinger, Judge, Goldschmidt, Volpe, Wells, everybody else in the lineup went 0 for 3, 4, 5. Friday, the only people to show up and even kind of show up were Bellinger and Stanton. Yesterday, obviously, looked a little bit better, but I'm not giving anybody a hot based on yesterday. I'll give a little special shout out to Grisham and Volpe for their 9 RBI, but I can't expect those two to give us 9 RBI every night. It's not sustainable.
No, that was a little tasty treat we were given for all the horror and misery we've been living through. Mm-hmm. And Jared was saying that Bellinger is hot. And when I saw that, Jared, I was saying, I really should have put him down because, like I said to Ciarra during the show, I said, I'm empty here. It's going to be nobody for hot not, man, because nobody is performing on their level. But everything, point well taken on all the things you just said, Ciarra. But Belly has been busting it out, and were it not for Belly, we wouldn't have gotten anything on the board in many of the games, or gotten the games going in many of the games the past couple of weeks.
Also,
So,
Bellinger's defense is just unmatched.
Oh yeah, I mean, just like you would keep Belly even if he was horrible at the plate because of that. It's like the reverse of Stanton.
So I wanted to bring up this comment real quick because to your point, CT. So Bellinger's numbers right now, they match exactly the numbers he had in his MVP season. Unfortunately for him, he plays in the AL now with this guy named Aaron Judge. So poor Belly is just, he's suck. I'm sorry, Belly.
Yeah, I'm sorry you have to play with a Cooperstown bound generational player, Belly. I wish there was a runner-up for it. Maybe there could be a Yankees MVP, but Judge would get that too. So who am I kidding? So in terms of not, Aaron Boone, we should be there every week, by the way. But go ahead, Ciarra. I really pieced out on this segment, guys.
I could have put the whole team there if I really wanted to, but I went with a different route. I put Aaron Boone to start because, listen, as much as people want to protect Aaron Boone, he is the one mismanaging the bullpen. He is the one mismanaging the game. He is the one setting the expectations for these fundamental mental lapses, okay? Like, that's on him. And I'm sorry if that upsets people, but he may not set the lineup because I'm pretty sure analytics do that. He may not put the team together, but when they're on the field and they're playing, he manages the bullpen. He manages how his team reacts to things. He is the one that can bench people when they're not running hard or they're making bad plays. We don't see, I don't need him to come out and publicly berate his players, but I do need some accountability. We've only seen it with one player in recent years, and that was Gleyber Torres. And guess what? After Gleyber got benched, he had a much better second half of the season, did he not? Gleyber Torres in the second half of 2024 was probably one of our most reliable players, and he got benched before that. So I don't know, maybe bench somebody. I don't know, maybe have a conversation with somebody, because whatever you're doing at this point is not working. So Aaron Boone, you are a not until you can prove otherwise.
Yeah, and how about blowing less bubbles and blowing more expletives at umpires and getting yourself ejected. It would do us all a favor if you would get ejected more often. And let Asmus take over, because we really wouldn't miss you. It would be a big Michael K. see ya, and it would, get the guys going a little bit. So do us that solid, because you're giving us a lot of liquid right now.
Yeah, and followed by Aaron Boone is his little buddy at third base, Luis Rojas. Okay, I would have fired Luis Rojas in the offseason for his horrible sends in the World Series. So the fact that he's still over there doing the same damn thing, why are you almost at home plate when Vivas is tagging from second to third? You have a young kid who made a stupid mistake by not sliding into third, but you're also responsible for it because you're not even anywhere near third base to coach him into sliding down, right? Especially when poor Vivas, you and Peraza are on a team that desperately need a third baseman. This is your time to shine, and you're not doing yourself any favors. But you know what? Rojas isn't helping either. And you can look at over the years, all of the horrible sends by Rojas. He should no longer be our third base coach.
He shouldn't be a little league's third base coach. And he does need to go. But you know what? He was like that last year, and they kept him. So
he sent Stanton in the World Series. I love Stanton. You love Stanton. But the guy can't run. Why are we sending him in a World Series game when he's going to get thrown out by a freaking mile?
Yeah, we'll happily go back to hot for you, Sean, because it's about our guy. We share custody, Ciarra and I, of Stanton.
I know you're watching from Twitter, so I hope you see all these positive comments about Giancarlo Stanton, because I know how bad you want him off this team. This is especially for you.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, those were the days. I think may we see more of them, Egyptian magician. And then just the overall fundamentals and defense. I could go on and on about it, but you put it on, Ciarra. Go for it.
Listen, we can talk about trades till we're blue in the face. We can talk about who's going to play third base, who's going to come into the bullpen, who's going to fix the starting rotation. Until the New York Yankees figure out how to fix their fundamental mistakes, until the New York Yankees figure out how to play infield defense, we're not winning anything. There was not one, but two horrible plays yesterday. That's why I was shocked we pulled out a win. First, we had second base, Jazz and Volpe, nobody covered when the ball was being thrown in from the infield or from the outfield. And then we had Goldie fields the ball and Will Warren's not covering first base. I had a flashback to Game 5 of the World Series. That game is going to haunt me for the rest of my life because it's like that same play has happened to us how many times this season? The Yankees what do they do in spring training? Do they not practice the PFPs or throwing from the outfield to the infield or communicating? Like, I don't know, maybe it's me. So I played volleyball growing up, right? A sport where you have to communicate everything. Mine, yours. Like, what do they not do that in the New York Yankees and a Major League Baseball team? Because I thought that was common sense.
How did they even get to this level? They had to have at some point been good at their fundamentals. They must have at some point taken the baseball IQ test and were Mensa level to be a New York Yankee. So what the hell happened? Do not tell me it's the drinking water in the Bronx because I drink it and it's fine.
No, I'm telling you, it is. They do not work on it. And the management does not hold them accountable. If you look at guys who were on this team previously and they're on other teams now and how they're playing versus how they played with the New York Yankees, that's enough of an example, right?
Yep.
So something's got to give at this point.
And it's like everything else. If you don't use it, then you lose it. And so if, that's what my voice teacher used to tell me all the time was, he would be able to tell within 5 minutes of a lesson, like, you didn't do any of the things I told you to practice, did you? He's like, your voice, your diaphragm is a muscle. If you don't exercise it, you're going to lose it. It's the same thing with this. It should be a drill, instead of these like stretches and ballet dancing they're doing out in the field before the game. How about some real drills that, and I'm not even talking about the phony relay across the diamond and all that stuff. Like, put some scenarios in front of them and have them work it out. And how about some sim fundamental workouts?
Yeah, right. I wanted to answer this question because I thought it was a good question. Christopher says, do you think it's because there's no chemistry? I think that's a great question. I've never really thought about it. I'm going to pay attention to how they're kind of interacting in the dugout now. I think there's no chemistry with Luis Rojas. If you watch how the players react to him when they're rounding third base, like we saw it last year, Soto waved him off a few times. I think that there might be no chemistry in the bullpen at this point because they're all terrible. As far as everybody else, I would hate to think that that's an issue, but you never know. Like, we don't know what's going on in the clubhouse. We don't see what's going on behind closed doors. So if that truly is, if it is an issue, that's just another nail in the coffin.
Yep. And that's another thing where, you need your captain to take that temperature check in the clubhouse. I could say that, it's easy to watch a game and see the chemistry in the dugout, when something good happens and they're rallying around each other and, you see them running out on the field, at the end when something good happens, like you see what Grish, the celebration they gave him. But when the chips are down, I got to pay more attention to when they're really sucking out, which is basically every game. So I guess I just haven't been paying attention. But so, in terms of your typical starters, but that chemistry is probably just about being in the moment. Mm-hmm. So, bonding in the way that we've seen other teams bond. That's a real open question mark, Christopher Cancel. So thank you. And thank you. We see that you're a Mets fan and we love having other team fans join us, and saw your opening comments coming in and happy to beat the Braves for the Mets. It was because of you, Chris. We wanted to make you happy.
I will say my favorite guy to watch in the dugout, just because we're on this topic, is Jason Dominguez. If you watch him, like anytime Judge hits a home run, Jason Dominguez bows. And like, he's just super goofy. And, you know, he's like 22 years old. So he's still super young. He's just fun. And I wish like that, I wish all the players were like that, because that, I feel like it could help them sometimes when they're feeling like, when they're stuck in the frustration and they're not playing well. Because if you look back, remember 2023, when they all just looked like they had no soul, like they all looked dead on the field because that's how bad the season was going. I don't want to see them get to that point, right? Like I don't want to see that.
So Christopher cancels.
He is not injured. He is leading off today. The Yankees just don't know how to manage him. For whatever reason, they're platooning a potential rookie of the year. And that's another reason I have an issue with the analytics department and what they're doing. Because this kid has proven over and over and over again that he's better than what they thought. He's improved his defense. His offense, he's like, yes, he's had a few games where he struggled, but for the most part, he's been very consistent. And compared to some of the other guys on the team, he's very patient, right? He knows how to take a pitch and how to take a walk. And that's something that you can't teach.
Yeah. Yeah. I only saw one instance during this series where he lost his patience at the plate a little bit and had a strikeout. But I think it's because he was like, I better do something because no one else is. You know, they better not break the spirit of this kid. We got ourselves a homegrown a future phenom if we can make that happen. So otherwise some team is going to, you know, grab him and he'll be a Cooperstown inductee. So yeah, so let's just I love me some Martian any day of the week. I love no offense to Grisham. And Grisham finally, like now, like, okay, because who else? Raise your hand if you were wondering every night why he was leading off. But that grand slam, you know, okay. So yesterday it was a good decision. Not that it had anything with him being lead off, which he never should have been.
Wasn't he batted 6 yesterday? So
oh, did he yesterday? Okay, yeah. So all right, and the we kind of already talked about him, but Will Warren. And the chat, by the way, has been talking about things like without us yet, so I can't even keep up.
So the more that I think about Will Warren, I should have just put him as a not as a man, because I was just trying to be nice. He didn't pitch terribly versus the Cubs, right? He went a little over 5 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 3 walks. Yesterday, though, like this kid, you don't know what you're getting on him. I think back to a few outings ago where he had 10 strikeouts, and now we're going 3 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, whatever, 2 home runs, and he breaks down after those home runs. It's like watching Rodon last year where he would melt down after those home runs. That's what's happening to Will Warren right now. And then this really irritated me yesterday, for him to go in the dugout and punch the ceiling of the dugout when we're on a team with no starting pitching because they're all injured right now. God only knows what's going on with Fried, if there's a true story behind that. You know, Cole's out for the season. Luis Hale's still on the man. Clark Schmidt's out for the season. So let's go and punch the dugout ceiling. They're saying he's fine right now, but I wouldn't. It really frustrated me because it was just a stupid thing to do.
Seriously, if you're gonna do that, do it the Gardy way. Grab a bat. I know you don't know how to do anything with a bat, but you know, watch some video footage of Gardy, and do it that way if you're gonna do it anyway. But you'll probably then do something. You know, you'll have an arm strain like Schlittler. So just don't do it. Like, take it out some other way, guy, because you know, and you know who else he's reminding me of? He's reminding me of Clay Holmes. You know, where Clay Holmes, you never knew what you were going to get. But, you know, this is Will Warren lately. And so, and really mostly, I shouldn't even say lately. So maybe they should be rethinking things. The bullpen is like, you know, limping along. If that, maybe we should be thinking about that for a little bit. But then I don't know who would pitch. Maybe your Aunt Martha, Ciarra. I don't know who else we got, but my Aunt Sally is on a cruise, so she can't do it. So, all right. So, oh wait, I went out of order. Woo! Okay. So, I did not order the slides this morning. Okay, so let's get to that IL while we're on the subject. So, so you mentioned if it's even true about Fried's blister. So the thing is, apparently the reason that they're still sitting him is because now it's not a blister, it's a callus. This is how ridiculous this is getting. This is what they were explaining on the broadcast yesterday. It's a callus, and it's under his fingernail, and so they're still, they want to give it more time to heal because it's going to affect the way he holds the ball for different pitches. I don't know. Do you buy that?
I'm not a major league pitcher, so I don't know how calluses affect you when you pitch. I will say I have calluses myself from weightlifting. They're a little rough. They're a little, they can be a little ugly at times, but I use some hand cream, and it helps it out. So I don't really know if I buy that. I do know that Fried has had blister issues in the past, and that's why when they first said he had a blister, I was super nervous because who knows what's going to happen, right? We're going to be down to just Rodon in a few days if Reed goes out, and that's really, really scary to me, and I don't want to think about it.
Right. Yeah. And Christopher, to answer your question, a callus is when an area of your skin gets hardened. Usually starts as a blister and then becomes a callus. And to like Ciarra's example, it's when you use that particular part of your body, typically your hands, in the same repetitive way. It happens.
Yeah.
Your hands or your fingers. When I was learning guitar, I had calluses across all my fingers for that. So that's what a callus is. It's just, it needs to break up. And yes, get yourself some Eucerin, Max Fried.
Like I said, I'm not a major league pitcher, so I don't know how it affects anything. Obviously, if it's under the nail, I'm sure it's painful. It's just one of those really silly injuries, in my opinion, that is just going to annoy me if that ends up happening.
I mean, could he switch arms? I mean, he's a professional. Can't he just do that? And so that's going to be the excuse, Lori. There it is. Thanks for providing it for us. They're really going to wait until that callus is gone, because if it rips off, he'll have another blister, and the cycle will continue, and we won't see him the rest of the season.
Look, if he needs to sit to avoid being injured, I'm fine with that. I don't want him to be injured, but it just makes me nervous because that leaves us with just Rodon. Will Warren's inconsistent. Stroman's only going to give you 5 innings. We don't know when Luis Gil's coming back. He's only at 50 pitches right now. We don't know if the Yankees are going to trade for a pitcher or not. I see Jared saying Schlittler, but we're going to get to him next because I guess that's a great segment, a great segue, I guess.
Absolutely. And that's really interesting, FJ. I put it up there that they used to slip their hands in pickle brine. It toughened the skin and
And Jorge Posada used to pee on his hands. So
say that again.
Jorge Posada used to pee on his hands because he didn't wear batting gloves because he's psychotic. So in order to either heal the calluses or avoid them, I don't really know what the logic was. He would pee on his hands.
Oh my goodness. I will never look at him the same way. Okay, so let's talk about Schlittler's biceps.
Yeah, they said so Schlittler, so that was the game plan on Friday, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
Was that Hamilton would start, Schlittler would come in and be the guy, which would have been fine because I like Schlittler. He had a really good first outing. But according to the New York Yankees, he has a sore bicep. They sent him for an MRI and it was negative. But what the hell is with the Yankees and having pitchers who were not injured before and now all of a sudden they're injured after pitching with us? Like, what is the deal?
I don't know. And like, again, let's talk about the medical team and the conditioners in the clubhouse. Like, can a bicep put some warm, damp heat on it, massage it, something like I just don't. I mean, but I'm not a pitcher.
I don't know. It makes me nervous because it your bicep, it's with your motion, right? So who knows? It could be more serious. I feel like whatever the Yankees say an MRI is clear, I don't believe them. Anthony Rizzo's MRI was clear and he had scrambled brains. So who freaking knows?
Exactly. Who knows for sure with this team, who knows, and anything goes. So, Egyptian magician saying, hip, hip, Jorge. I think what I'd say, magician is piss, piss, Jorge. But anyway, thank you. I'm here all week. All right. Then next on down the list, we got Yobro and Heel. I'm putting them together because they're like two little snail buddies, and they're having a race on who's gonna like get off the IL first, and they're like, because that not even that they're injured. Well, Heel hasn't even started really throwing of any real consequence. Yarbrough is doing some throwing sessions. Leiter Jr. and Cruz, we know we're not going to see them till August, if we're lucky. And I'm saying if we're lucky in regard to Cruz. Leiter Jr., I want him back just because we need anybody. And as I mentioned earlier, Ciarra and I, our answer are, not available at the moment. And then we have Yerry De Los Santos, who just commenced his rehab assignment. I don't have one feeling or another about De Los Santos, because how many innings have we seen him? 1.5 ever? Like,
I mean, we've seen him. At this point, I'll take anybody, right? The bullpen is so bad. I would take anybody. It doesn't matter to me who it is. Mark Leiter Jr. is obviously, we're not going to see him until next year, but give me De Los Santos. Give me somebody from AA, AAA, single A. Give me somebody off the street. I don't care. I just need somebody else in the bullpen.
Really, it's a lot of somebody else's, because what we have just is not even, other than Devin Williams, who, I still always kind of hold my breath about, because even Weaver is still tilty-turny right now. So, all right, so let's get down to trading. I could just read all the comments because the chat's been going wild about it. Hey, if you're an age-old Yankee fan, you'll notice that in the graphic there's some old-timey Yankees that are prominent in there. If you could name them, boy, I'll shout you out pretty loud. All right, so here's the skinny on who's buying and who's selling that I thought would be interesting to talk about. So the O's are selling, and they have a lot of expiring contracts going on. So so think about the All-Star Ryan O'Hearn, center fielder Cedric Mullins. His contract is expiring, and a whole boatload apparently of pitchers from the O's. So their potential there. And then in terms of other sellers, listen, we got a lot, and MLB.com is calling it the seller's market this year. So the thing is, and we better be buyers and nothing but buyers. Or if we're selling so we could buy. But some interesting things here. I'm gonna go to the Pirates first. So I'm gonna hold my opinion. So they're looking to sell IKF, Andrew Heaney, Caleb Ferguson, and Tommy Pham, because they all have expiring contracts. What do you think about that list, Ciarra?
So the Yankees have been rumored, per John Heyman and a few other beat writers, to be linked to IKF, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Mitch Keller, and David Bednar, I want to say was the fourth name. I don't hate the idea of IKF or Ke'Bryan Hayes.
No.
We need a third baseman, and they're both upgrades to what we have right now. Now, I know IKF has already been here, but he never played the position that he won a Gold Glove in, which was third base, right? The guy came up as a catcher, won a Gold Glove at third base, and then the Yankees made him a shortstop where he obviously played terribly. 2023 IKF came out off the bench, was your utility guy, and he looked a hell of a lot better. He looked better with the Blue Jays. He looked better with the Pirates. So I don't know. Ke'Bryan Hayes, I don't know. He's better than what we have, but he's not like amazing either. So
no,
I don't like any of the options, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing Ke'Bryan Hayes has for him is his dad, Charlie Hayes, and Charlie Hayes is long retired. The DNA just didn't DNA right. So I don't know about that. I know for sure Andrew Heaney is not needed back in pinstripes. The first experiment was enough. And no to Andrew Heaney. IKF, I'm on the fence about. I think that I think that he was great at literally every position, to your point, when he turns into utility guy. And yes, he did win a Gold Glove at third base. But you know what? So did Volpe at short. And what's that doing for us now?
Don't do that to me, Lynn.
Sorry. Every now and then, I just have to give the other side there. But and so and what about the Diamondbacks? They're saying that both Josh Naylor and Suarez. I'm gonna really do bad with his first name. Are gonna be up.
Listen, so the Diamondbacks are interesting to me because they're not out of playoff contention. So the fact that they're willing to part ways with Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, Zach Gallen, or Merrill Kelly is insane to me. They did come out yesterday and say, or a report came out yesterday that said they're not entirely sure yet if they want to move away from Suarez, but they're listening to trades. The Yankees would have to give up a lot for Suarez, and he's a rental. I think that's the only issue I have with it. I would take him because he's obviously a lot better than what we have. Like, we don't have a third baseman, and he's a good third baseman. But again, he's a rental. The Diamondbacks want pitching in return. The Yankees don't have pitching. That's why we're going to the Diamondbacks, because they have Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen, who the Yankees were scouting this weekend, which, spoiler alert, I don't know how I feel about Zach Gallen, because is he a good pitcher? I mean, he has been in the past, but this year he's not having a great season, with the exception of when the Diamondbacks played the Yankees and the Mets.
Yeah, so I don't know. Suarez, I know you like him as a player. I don't like his swagger, his attitude, and that always counts for me. And I know it shouldn't, and maybe that's why I'm not a scout. So let's talk about other Yankees that could come back if we want them back. How about the A's looking to off our Gio Urshela because he's on a 1-year deal? Would we take Urshela back at third? And think about the way he's been doing since he's left the Yankees. Not that I'm trying to tilt anybody one way or another.
I would take Urshela back, but I'm not sure he's a popular option right now. The problem with the third base market in general is there are no sexy options. There are no long-term options, and there's no sexy options. I would almost be more comfortable with the Yankees jumping a guy from single or double A up to the majors at this point. They would never do that, obviously, but
I think that's fair. The other two options would be Luis Urias and Miguel Andujar.
No, thank you. No, thank you to anybody.
Yeah, I think those ships have definitely failed. And yeah, there's a massive hell no, Gio, hell no, Gio. So there's that. Appears to be washed. Okay.
I wouldn't count anybody out at this point. Javi Baez was washed until this season, and now you have center fielder Javi Baez playing great baseball for the Detroit Tigers. So anything can happen.
Anything could happen. And was I the only person mad when we got rid of Gio? Because I think Gio was good for us. So maybe I was, based on the chat. And then the Angels are might be sellers. It depends on how the rest of the season goes for them. But here are the free agents they have coming up. Kenley Jansen, Tyler Anderson, Kyle Hendricks, Yohan Moncada, Luis Rengifo, and maybe even Taylor Ward. He's under team control for 1 more year, but that doesn't take him off the market. So anything on that list ring a bell for anybody?
Rengifo and Moncada are both injury prone, and we have enough of that over here in New York.
Hell no.
So no.
Well, no.
No. So the other issue we have to think about too going into this trade deadline, right? There realistically is only 6 teams out of it, and you can even go as far as saying 5. So in the American League, the White Sox are obviously out of it. They were out of it before the season even started. The A's don't really have a path forward, so we can count them out. Now, the Orioles are an interesting one because if you look at it now, you can count them out. However, with how the AL East is going at this very moment, anything can happen. So I won't count them out just yet. The National League, Rockies clearly out of it. However, they don't really have anybody that I think the Yankees should go after. The Nationals out of it, the Pirates are out of it. And that's why I think the Yankees are so linked to the Pirates right now, because out of all the teams that are out of it, they are the ones that could really be like a one-stop shop and maybe not rob us blind.
Well, yeah, it would be good not to be robbed blind, for a change. And Frank Rivera, I was having a good morning until you mentioned Donaldson. But I almost forgot about him. Speaking of the White Sox, though, Ciarra, they have a right-hander, Adrian Hauser. Why are we laughing? Are you laughing at a comment or Adrian
No, I'm
Hauser?
laughing at Adrian Hauser.
Tell me why.
Because he's just not good, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Because, maybe I shouldn't be reading MLB.com's morning updates, because they're saying he's been one of the best starters in the league since May.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'll
The
go with
White
you.
Sox have a lot of young talent, but they don't know how to manage their team, and they can't figure out how to win games, which is really sad because they have all these really good young guys. But while I say that, there's also nobody in the White Sox that I would sell to take, because they're going to want 4 or 5 guys in return. Like Luis Robert Jr., that poor guy, he's trying to get out of Chicago. He's probably one of the hottest guys. He's somebody that you constantly see linked in rumors for trading. But the White Sox want a million things back for what they're giving, and it's not worth it. It never will be worth it. Also, he's kind of injury prone, so I think that's why he's going to be stuck in Chicago too.
Oh, okay. Well, we definitely don't want injury prone. We got enough of that. So let's now go to this. So Ciarra, anything on the prospecting side of things?
Yeah, so I wanted to focus on Dylan Jasso. He's in AA. He plays third base. He can also play first and second base. So he's a utility infielder, but mainly third base. He has 12 home runs right now and 46 RBI, just under 800 for his OPS. So he's somebody to keep an eye on. Also, just in general, if you guys have not been able to watch a AA Somerset game this season, do yourselves a favor and do it. I have never seen a team with more fight play baseball. Like, they are never out of a game. It doesn't matter how they could be down 10-0 and they're not out of that game. I absolutely love watching that team from top to bottom. Every single person has fight in them. And it's just always a good watch. So do yourselves a favor, watch the AA team. And, I'm doing my best to learn some more about prospects this season. I'm trying to be a prospect guru and add some more value. But so far, AA is kind of where it's at for me.
Okay, yeah, and you're so right. They're okay. I'm gonna try to find words. They're easy to find on broadcast too, and so you're reminding me I need to tune into more of the Somerset and Rail Rider games, because they're accessible and they are our future. So I'm very excited about Dylan Jasso, Yasso, Masso, Lasso. Looking really good there. And looking forward to seeing Spencer Jones in the near future. So let's now go to, oops. I got to go way back because I screwed up my slides this morning. Let's do this real fast because everybody needs a hero. So hero of the week. So I'm taking this opportunity to give this award to Grish McGritty for that Grand Slam. I don't know if we've seen a Grand Slam from Grisham since we acquired him. But boy, that's something that can rival a team up. So unfortunate that it was toward the end of the game. Could have used it earlier, but we'll take it when we get it. It was good to see him. He's been a little bit spotty, not as consistent at the plate as we'd like him to be. Glad he's no longer leading off, but he's my hero. Simply, this is where we're at. He's the hero because of that Grand Slam. not for anything throughout the week.
Yeah, I mean, there was only 2 games this week, so this one
Oh, yeah,
was
that's
a little
true.
bit hard. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I'm giving it to Anthony Volpe, even though I said he wasn't a hot. But 2 for 4 yesterday, his first multi-home run game of his career. I got to give him a little bit of love for that. I'm hoping that this is kind of the turning point for Volpe, because it's been like watching a slow death spiral, or like, you know, like when you see a car crash and everybody slows down to watch, that's what it's been like watching Anthony Volpe. So I really hope yesterday kind of gave him the boost of confidence he needed. With that being said, I'm also going to give myself a 48-hour rule where I cannot say anything negative about Volpe for the next 48 hours. So,
including online?
Including online.
Okay. All right. Not that I'm going to stalk you on that or anything. I entirely agree with you. And in fact, one of my hot takes for the show, he ruined it yesterday by doing that, because guess what this coming Friday is? It's Anthony Volpe bobblehead night. And when I saw that earlier in the week, I'm like, oh, I hope there's still tickets available. And thinking, okay, who's really going to like pick one up of those? But there he goes, did what he did yesterday. And so, and old Sarge is coming in with a lot to say. Let's just see this fast. Hey, old Sarge, nice to see you. I'll say it again. There's no player or combo players that will make the Yanks the favorite to win the World Series. Make smart trades, plug the holes, and play, not trading Jones at all for nominal improvement. I think your name should be Old Sage, Sarge. I think there's a lot of practicality and wisdom to what you're saying. But you know that we're not going to give up just yet, because we're silly like that. But this is the second half of the season officially, after wheels leave the ground out of Atlanta today. Our second half of the season will start. And you know what? It's time for the Blue Jays to tank a bit. So I'm just going to rely on that. But certainly get your point. And the thing is, with what you're saying, Sarge, it's the smart thing. You use the word smart in there. And as a fan base, we've seldom been in agreement with some of the trading that's been happening. So yes, I would love some intellect involved and some common sense, and not just the almighty dollar as what always prevails with this front office. So the comings and goings from this week. So goodbye, Rico Garcia, whoever you are, because we saw you for 30 seconds and now you're gone. Ciarra, you mentioned Winans is back. I'm here for it, because who else do I have to be here for? So looking forward to seeing Winans helping out that pen. And hey, we acquired Justin West, a lefty pitcher, and Ryan Osinski, righty pitcher. I'm hoping they're ready like in a week or so. They might be a low level A for all I know, but hoping that they're phenomenal and we can get them up here. We need a lefty and a righty in the batting and in the pitching. So let's see if we could see you soon. And they also here's some things that make you go, They also acquired a shortstop, Dax Kilby. So I just found it odd, given the prospects we already know about and the Golden Child.
I know.
Interesting.
The Yankees draft MO is to draft pitchers and shortstops. That's just what they do. I don't know why, but it's what they do. So
yeah. So we'll just have to see. Yeah. So all right. And I think as we're winding down here, let's just talk about what's next. So here we go. We're finishing up with the Braves. It's Rubber Game Sunday, so anything could happen. So let's leave it. Let's leave Atlanta with a win. Boy, would we need that heading into Toronto. We did gain a half a game last night, guys. So it would be great to go in. Great for the Jays if they would. I'd really appreciate it. Lose today. so that we could be 2 games behind you when we come to Toronto. And the 3-game matchup with the Jays, and then we have an off day, and then we head into, when we see you next, it'll be the 3rd game of the series with the Phillies at home. Let's just say it's not going to be a rubber game. Can we all say that simultaneously in our heads right now? Next Sunday will not be a rubber game because we're winning the first 2. So let's just make that a thing. We'd like to have one of those kind of Sundays with you guys. And let's go to the trivia question of the week as we wrap up. So for those of you that joined late, here it is. 20 years ago, after a successful season, the Yankees met the LA Angels in the ALDS. In Game 5, 2 Yankee outfielders collided while chasing a fly ball, ultimately costing the Yankees the game and the championship. Who were they? And the answer is, Lori, I'll tell you that you were half right. Gary Sheffield and Bubba Crosby. So, and you can see the footage. I checked it out when Spencer sent me this question. Very unfortunate. And, 2005, we'll never know what could have happened if those two didn't collide. And, Bubba Crosby is a fun name to say, gotta say. So there you have it there. And so, listen, chat, you were amazing today, going so fast. If I didn't get to your comments, I apologize. They were going faster than, the ticker tape used to go through that machiney thing back in the day. And you bring the fire, and you have so much knowledge. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for tuning in, all of you out there that are watching now and will watch later. You have our ats there for you, and you have the Pinstripe Chronicles. We are proud members of the Pinstripe Chronicles team. So catch Uncle Tats and Donald and Rob Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I know you do. Everyone in the chat, everyone, if you're listening and you're wondering what I'm talking about, you're missing out. Go check them out. Don't forget to like us, subscribe us, love us forever. And and as always, you'll always have a reserved seat with Ciarra and me right here on the upper deck. And let's win the series, Yankees. See you next time.